here.
Hey, we're live. Welcome to the show. Everybody, it's the Survivor Series
2018
post show.
Wow, what a show.
What a show.
Can't believe we just saw that.
What do you mean?
Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan. It's amazing it happened. See Daniel Bryan actually somewhat make a comeback.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan actually looked like he could have won the match.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan get dropped on his head right away.
It's a pretty great match.
Yeah, but better than I expected, without question.
Oh, yeah, way better.
But in the end, Brock did win. Raw just completely dominated the whole night. Won pretty much every match. They lost the kickoff show, but they didn't count the kickoff show. So that was kind of weird, but okay. But it was fun. I really thought, in my opinion, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte, to me, that stole the show.
Yeah, you don't think that Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan was the match of the night? For me, that was the match of the night. I thought both matches were really good. I was impressed, and I got more than I expected from both the Brock and the Ronda matches. But I thought Brock and Daniel Bryan was a little bit better. I preferred it a little bit more. I thought it had more twists and turns, those false finishes. You really did believe that Daniel Bryan was going to win a few times. Even though going into it, I thought there's no chance. And even during the match, I was like, no. There's no way Daniel Bryan's going to win. And then he would do something, when he had him in the yes lock there.
Right.
And then Brock fought out of it. And then Bryan hit him with the clubs to the head, and he put him in again. I thought, oh man, maybe Brock's going to tap out. And how cool would that have been? I'm a little bit disappointed he didn't actually win the match. Like, that would have been awesome. But, I mean, that match had me on the edge of my seat for a good chunk of it. I was really like, man, is Daniel Bryan going to win here? It had me believing. I pretty much thought Ronda would beat Charlotte. There was never a point where I thought Charlotte was going to beat Ronda. She had, her strong moments. But during that match, I don't think there was a false finish that had me believing.
The spear.
Oh, yeah, the spear was stiff, but...
Great near fall.
I feel like the Bryan match had more emotion, but I'm more invested in the Daniel Bryan character, too, so that has something to do with it. But I thought both matches were fantastic.
I guess I had low expectations, I think, for Charlotte and Ronda, and the fact that they had such a great match. I guess that's what stood out for me. With Brock and Daniel, I kind of expected more or less a squash. We got more than a squash. So, we still got great entertainment, but I guess I wasn't expecting much from the women.
I thought that match was fantastic. What did you all think? I'm seeing some comments. Wally's out there, Antoinette, JJ Mondesi says, about time Brock gave us a match. I agree. What did you all think was the match of the night? Was it Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan, or was it Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair? I think it's pretty much between those two matches. Nothing else really stood out at Survivor Series. Overall, I thought the card was not great. It had its moments, but the Charlotte and Ronda match and the Brock and Bryan match really made up for the whole thing and made it a solid pay-per-view, in my estimation. I thought it was a good show, mostly because, the big matches that needed to show up did, and then some. Like, not only were they as good as you wanted them to be, they were better than you expected.
I think it helps when the main events deliver, and the fact that you end kind of on the high note instead of ending with the Survivor Series matches. I think it just goes to show the Survivor Series matches, they're not really that good. They just seem kind of long. Yeah, there's some cool moments here and there, but overall, it just feels like it's just a long wrestling match, and you can't wait for it to be over.
Yeah. All the Survivor Series matches were pretty weak, I'd say.
I thought the men's, okay, the table spot was cool with Shane. Shane had cool moments, but besides that, it just dragged.
And it was a mess a lot of the times. Guys falling over each other. It was just kind of sloppy.
I'm glad it wasn't the main event. I'm glad they've changed it, because that used to be the main event match was the men's. And I guess when it had the star power, it made sense. But now, I'm glad it's just kind of in the middle of the card. But the problem is, it's still it feels like an hour-long match. And it really sucks the life, I think, out of the show.
Yeah, it's long. Those matches were long. We're getting some answers here as far as Match of the night. A lot of people are agreeing with you, Big Johnny. Let's see here. Antoinette says Ronda match was the match of the night. JJ Mondesi says the same. JC says Charlotte Ronda reminded him of the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I can see that.
Uh,
It got bloody too. I mean, yeah, Daniel Bryan bled, but the Ronda thing, it seemed more emotional.
and the Ronda thing did seem like there was real emotion there. Charlotte seemed like she was fighting for Becky Lynch, and the way she busted Ronda open, elbowing her right in the face. I mean, that was a stiff, legit shot. She just gave to Ronda, and I wonder how much of that was an accident, and how much of that was emotion, and how much of that was why not? Let's go.
And I think with this match too, it showed Ronda in a weaker light, which we haven't seen before. Ronda actually taking a beating, where the Brock match, yeah, it was cool to see Daniel in that situation, but we've seen that kind of Brock Lesnar match before, so it wasn't anything different. But to see Ronda in a position where she's kind of weak, yeah, she won the match by DQ, but she didn't leave looking like the winner.
Yeah, she was more vulnerable in the match tonight than maybe we've ever seen her in WWE.
And I kind of want to see that match more now the second time around.
Wally thinks the Brock Daniel Bryan match was better because it had a clean finish. He thought that there were moments where you thought Brock was going to tap, but never thought Charlotte would win at any point, which was kind of my feeling on the match too.
Right.
Wally and I agreeing once again, my man out in Ireland. We agree on a lot.
Well, they're both very good matches, and I think it's just more in terms of styles. Just I find I'm a little tired of the Brock matches. They just kind of feel the same. You just put Daniel Bryan in there. It didn't seem like the formula changed that much with Daniel Bryan. I thought AJ last year kind of changed the formula a bit. Or yeah, he took a beating, but he also took the fight really hard. Where this, it kind of felt like the John Cena beatdown, but with a little bit more hope.
Yeah, but there were different elements to this. It was different than the John Cena match. I mean, Daniel Bryan was taunting Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
When have you seen anybody taunt Brock Lesnar? No one does that. Everybody approaches Brock Lesnar the same way, like they are scared to death of the beast. They walk into the match and everybody has the same look, be it Roman Reigns, even Braun Strowman. They all look intimidated.
Right.
When they're in there with Brock, when they're one-on-one, they're like, oh, uh-oh. Bryan's like, come on, bring it. And he's like dancing around him, trying to move around. No one's done that with Brock Lesnar. That was a unique approach. I know you're saying it was the same old thing with Brock, and yeah, okay, Brock suplexed Daniel Bryan around, and that's, what he does, but it's not like that's all they did.
No.
They did way more. I thought that was one of the best Brock Lesnar matches we've seen in WWE, and definitely his best match all year, right? What was better? Has he had a better match in 2018?
No, but he hasn't exactly had good matches. He had all the other matches were Roman and Braun. That's all he's wrestled so far.
This is still your top guy in all of the WWE. We showed that. You had the two top champions, and Brock came out on top, victorious tonight. So they showed you he's the top guy in the WWE, and his best match of the entire year was tonight against Daniel Bryan.
Well, last year too, a Survivor Series, the best match was AJ. It shows you the SmackDown guys are the best, even though SmackDown got completely destroyed tonight. They try to make Raw seem like it's the better show. It isn't, but that's the way they show it on TV.
Raw won every head-to-head match except the kickoff match, right?
Which wasn't on the actual pay-per-view.
So Raw won the 5-on-5 men's match. They won the 5-on-5 women's match. They won the Seth Rollins beat Nakamura in the Intercontinental versus U.S. title match. And Brock beat Daniel Bryan. And Ronda beat Charlotte Flair, albeit it was a disqualification when Charlotte grabbed the kendo stick. Quite a post-match beatdown there from Charlotte Flair attacking Ronda, setting up another encounter down the road. Who knows when, though?
Well, I think they're keeping their options open because Becky is injured, and I know a lot of people are expecting Ronda versus Becky at WrestleMania, but who knows what's going to happen? Who knows how long Becky's going to be out for? So they just pretty much gave themselves a backup plan. I think it still could be Becky, but Charlotte's there just in case, just like she was tonight.
Yeah, and I think Charlotte is a solid replacement if you need to replace Becky Lynch. She showed tonight that she can have a kick-ass match with Ronda Rousey, and they can do even more. And if Charlotte is the one to beat Ronda, I'm not mad at that. She had a great match tonight. One of her best matches in all of WWE. And I think it was Ronda's best match that she's ever had. It was better than the Nia Jax match.
It had more emotion. It was cool to see Ronda in that position then, but it felt like this was more. It felt like there was a lot more emotion because of the Becky, and because that we haven't seen Ronda that vulnerable in so long. And Charlotte, she pretty much always wins. You always think, oh, if Charlotte's wrestling, she more likely could win. So to me, that added to this match. With Nia, it's just, well, when is Ronda going to take her down? It wasn't, can she? You just knew it was just a matter of time.
I think something else that we can't forget to mention is how hard Ronda worked, how hard Charlotte worked, how hard Bryan worked, and how hard Brock worked. Brock really worked hard tonight.
He worked more than he usually does, I guess.
He took a few bumps that he didn't need to take in a normal match that he would have. He doesn't usually take.
He still took it kind of easy. I felt he worked more in the AJ match. Where this, he still kept it kind of slow. Like, yeah, he took Daniel's stuff, but he really didn't wrestle that much. I felt with AJ, he kind of wrestled. He actually did some back and forth with AJ. This was just, well, I'm going to do something. Oh, Daniel comes back, does his stuff to me. Oh, that's kind of surprising. Here I come again. Oh, no, Daniel got me again. I mean, it was still simple, and yeah, okay, Brock took more than definitely took against Braun Strowman or Roman Reigns put together, but I still thought Brock had it easy tonight, out of all of them.
Yeah, he still brought more than he normally does.
Oh, definitely compared to Crown Jewel, that's for sure.
Yeah, right?
I'm surprised. Like, at first it seemed like, oh, he's not going to even break a sweat. Okay, now Daniel's actually making him sweat a bit. That's nice. And he kind of busted him open a bit. Well, not busted him open, but his face was a little red, so those kicks were nice. He definitely didn't hold back, which is great.
Yeah, those boots to Brock's face, he nailed him with those boots.
That was fun.
Those were awesome. It was violent. That's what I like, too, with both of the main events. They were violent. There was blood. There were moments where you feared for people and their safety. It was good, violent pro wrestling.
It kind of goes to show that the MMA fighters in wrestling, it works. They truly deliver in the end. I mean, it takes some time for them to get it down right. I mean, Ronda's still learning. But in the end, they become definitely the biggest attractions.
Well, it depends who you are, but it doesn't hurt to have a background in MMA if you want to go into pro wrestling. That's for sure.
You can look at NXT as well. Shannon Baszler, she gets better and better all the time.
Matt Riddle squashed Cassius Ohno on TakeOver last night.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Why?
But,
they're pushing Riddle like crazy.
Yeah, but like, does it have to be a squash? I mean, can he just do more than that? But fine, all right, that's the way Matt Riddle's going to be. It just sucks for Cassius Ohno. It just feels like he's never going to get called up to the main roster.
No, he probably won't. But Matt Riddle's destined to be a superstar for the company.
It goes to show. You have an MMA background, and you have a love for wrestling. You're willing to put some time into it. They'll definitely give you a chance.
Man, maybe they'll give CM Punk a chance.
Yeah.
He's got an MMA background, and he had a passion and love for pro wrestling.
I think it's only a matter of time before we see Daniel Cormier and Brock Lesnar possibly in WWE ring.
I don't think Daniel Cormier is going to wrestle for WWE. I'd be surprised.
If they're going to hire him in some capacity, I'd be surprised he doesn't wrestle at one point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying full time, but a match, why not?
So, Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, kick ass. Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, they kick ass. I kind of wonder what's next for everybody here. I figured Bryan goes on to feud with AJ Styles, right?
Right.
Charlotte, I don't know. I think we're all waiting to see how severe Becky Lynch's concussion is and when she's going to come back. Brock Lesnar is in limbo, right? When's Brock come back?
The Rumble, because now he's going to have to defend. Braun Strowman won, right? So he's going to get a shot against Brock Lesnar, more than likely at the Rumble. He's going to face Corbin, more than likely at TLC first.
Right.
And then it'll be Brock.
That does make sense. Brock and Braun again, though? Like, Does anybody want to see that?
How many times do we see Roman and Brock? Like, way too many times. They love doing rematches. Who else is Brock going to wrestle at this point? There's no one.
Not on Monday Night Raw.
I mean, Seth Rollins, but I feel like they're grooming Seth Rollins for Mania. I think Rollins is going to win the Rumble.
Maybe. Seth Rollins beat Shinsuke Nakamura tonight. I thought the match was all right. Not incredible.
You know, it was surprising because I thought SmackDown was going to win something, but nope.
Yeah, SmackDown won nothing tonight, and Dean Ambrose didn't even come and attack Seth Rollins. It cost him the match.
But they did make it official for TLC that it will be Ambrose Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship.
They didn't say it was going to be in a TLC match, though.
No, I don't think that's going to be the TLC match. I mean, if AJ and Daniel Bryan are going to wrestle, that should be the TLC match.
God, Daniel Bryan, you know, I saw Captain Baba said every German suplex he held his breath, especially the first one.
Yes.
That looked really rough.
The first one I thought he wasn't going to get up.
Man, that first German suplex looked like he landed right on his head. So Daniel Bryan, you know, we know the history of injuries, the concussions, the neck issues. He's going to go from wrestling Brock Lesnar one pay-per-view to wrestling a TLC match the very next month. How long is this guy going to last? Like, man, they're putting him through the ringer.
Well, it's not as bad as like when he was on top in 2014-13, where he wrestled pretty much Raw and SmackDown twice on the same shows. So I think they're going to be cautious with him. He's not going to do house shows as much, but it also makes me wonder how long is he going to be WWE champion if he's not making all the dates.
I think he's going to be making all the dates, though. He's all right.
Is he going to do all the house shows? He wasn't doing all the house shows before he was WWE champion.
Yeah. Does he need to?
I think it's a great draw for a house show that you're going to have a WWE championship match. AJ was doing it.
Paul M says Drew, Braun, and Lashley are Raw's top guys and will be the ones challenging Lesnar in the future. You know, that's not a bad point. We're saying it's going to be Braun for sure, but I could see Drew McIntyre or Bobby Lashley going at Brock in Brock's next title defense. I'm kind of sick of the Braun Strowman thing. He did win the match and eliminate 4 guys for Raw, but Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley also survived for Team Raw in that match.
But Drew, it seems clear that he's going to feud with Finn Balor because they had the issue.
But that's like a stepping stone on the way to Brock. Like, that's your TLC match for Drew on your way to Brock at Royal Rumble.
But Braun's already got the shot because Stephanie said, as long as you're on the team, you help us win, you got the shot. So it's already set in stone that it's Braun next.
Maybe it'll be TLC, though, for Brock. Maybe Brock comes back in December?
I highly doubt it. Come on. When has Brock ever worked a pay-per-view that's not one of the big 4? I think it was Great Balls of Fire, and that was it.
Antoinette making a solid point. She says Brock doesn't make all the dates, and he's still the champion.
Yeah, he is. It's true.
Bryan's going to make more dates than Brock Lesnar will.
But we saw...
Give Bryan some time off to rest and recuperate.
We saw tonight Brock's more important than Daniel Bryan because Brock won.
Yeah, well, that's just the way Brock is. Brock beats everybody. Brock always wins.
Brock's always the main event. So they're going to protect Brock Lesnar as much as possible. And just feeding him the same opponents. People will still want to see Brock Lesnar versus a big guy, regardless that he's beaten him before. You can still sell the fact that it wasn't fair because Baron Corbin interfered.
I want to see it so much less now than I wanted to see it last time. And last time I saw it, I wanted to see it so much less than I wanted to see it the first time. Every time you see the match, it loses appeal because it's just not good. First time they put them one-on-one, I said, man, this is going to be cool. And then I saw the match and I was like, man, that was not so good. And the second time they put them one-on-one, I was like, yeah, this isn't going to be great. And it wasn't. I don't want to see them wrestle ever again.
Oh,
you know?
It's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I'm just not into it. I'm not into Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman. I hope they go somewhere else. I wouldn't be mad at seeing Seth Rollins get the shot at Brock Lesnar instead.
I think they're just building towards that.
You might be right, though. It could be Seth taking the title from Brock at WrestleMania.
He's the replacement Roman.
If Roman's not around, they need somebody else to be the guy, and Seth Rollins could be that guy. It would make a lot of sense.
If you look at it, they always keep Seth strong. Even though he lost the tag titles by himself.
Even when Roman was around.
Yeah, even when he was around. double champion on Raw. There's only Seth Rollins that does that. And Seth Rollins beats Nakamura. It doesn't matter that they sell that he's distracted. Still wins anyways. And maybe Ambrose will beat him, but they don't come back and win the Rumble.
Okay, so the WWE Survivor Series match, Braun Strowman was spotlighted. But if you look at the SmackDown team, who do we really focus on?
Shane
McMahon.
Yeah. He's the star of SmackDown.
Samoa Joe was eliminated with one kick from Drew McIntyre. We didn't see him at all.
Sad.
Jeff Hardy was kind of there, but kind of not.
He had moments here and there.
And he got eliminated real quick. Him and Ray got eliminated kind of at the same time by Braun Strowman.
I thought Ray had some good moments. I mean, he eliminated Finn.
Ray had some moments, but for the most part, it was the Shane McMahon show for some reason. And like, Shane McMahon wins the World Cup at Crown Jewel, right?
Best in the world.
But he's a heel in doing so.
But he beat two heels, or he beat a heel by doing it, so he's a face.
But it was kind of a heelish move, was it not?
It was.
And now tonight, he's like the big baby face trying to conquer Braun Strowman, who's also a baby face. Yeah, what was going on with the booking of Shane McMahon tonight? And the booking of Shane McMahon in general, it's so inconsistent. Sometimes he's a heel when they need him to be. Sometimes he's the top babyface on SmackDown. It's bizarre. And, like, couldn't Shane McMahon have recused himself from the match and put AJ Styles in instead on the team to make Team SmackDown better? Why wasn't Randy Orton on that team? It really made no sense that Shane McMahon was the focus of Team SmackDown.
Well, because Team SmackDown didn't win. And Randy has great stats at Survivor Series, and they didn't want to ruin his stats. Because they've done it before. Randy just lost to Braun Strowman, and they didn't want to do that again. They protected Randy by not having him on the pay-per-view. And if you think about AJ Styles, too, him just getting squashed by Braun, it would have devalued AJ more than he's already been devalued in the past week.
You might be right about that, but still, the focus on Shane McMahon, for the high spots, for the big moves, it's all about Shane. Like, couldn't you have focused on Jeff Hardy doing some of those big moves instead of Shane? I understand that's what Shane does when he shows up, but, I mean, everybody's agreeing on the comments, you know? Rob Clue says it's sickening Shane would be the focus of anything. Antoinette says Shane should retire, you know?
I have to give Shane credit. That clothesline he took from Braun Strowman, that looked like that killed. That looked like absolute death. Like, I can't believe you're going to get up from this. And they kept Shane, like, he kept coming back all the time. You take these crazy bumps. No, he's still alive in this.
Yeah.
They made Shane look like he was almost invincible in that match. He survived all the way to the end.
Which is like, why?
Because he's kind of superhuman. I mean, he did face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So they kind of make Shane into a big deal. Regardless that a lot of people think he is a joke.
He faced Undertaker at WrestleMania?
In Hell in a Cell. In Texas.
Oh, yeah. That was 2 years ago.
He did the jump off Hell in a Cell.
So forgettable.
So forgettable. Though. Jump off Hell in a Cell.
Whatever. He does it every match. I don't care.
It's lost its meaning. But yeah, Shane is like a superstar, man. Regardless that people think Shane's a joke, Shane McMahon is one of the top stars in WWE. And yeah, he only wrestles once in a while, but when he does, it's a big deal. And they always make sure to put emphasis on Shane.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're the son. And, hey, man, he takes great bumps. You can't take that away from him.
So does Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, but Jeff's beaten up, and Jeff needs to wrestle almost every week. Shane has his moments here and there. So use up Shane now and save Jeff for later shows.
So, Crown Jewel, Shane gets a big spot. He wins the tournament. Survivor Series, Shane is the sole survivor for Team SmackDown before getting eliminated.
Well, SmackDown won Crown Jewel, right? And now Raw won Survivor Series. Like, who cares in the end, right? I mean, does it really matter who won all this? Because no one gets anything for it whatsoever.
It does matter who gets the TV time, though. Like, just why would Shane McMahon get more ring time than Samoa Joe?
I fear Joe's hurt.
By such a wide margin, too.
Joe has to be hurt. Like, it's just weird that they would use him, or they just don't have a lot of interest in Samoa Joe. How you go from the world title to that, it's worrisome.
They're moving on from Samoa Joe as well, right? They got to kind of change course of action. He's a heel. Bryan's a heel. Bryan's a champion. What's Joe going to do? Everybody's got to shift on SmackDown right now.
Yeah, it's tough unless Joe goes into a tag team maybe. But even then, against the Bar, you have all heels as champions on SmackDown. It's not a lot of room for Joe.
Yeah, that's it. If you're a heel right now on SmackDown, there's not a lot of room for you. If you're a babyface like AJ Styles or Jeff Hardy or Rey Mysterio or Shane McMahon, there's a lot of stuff to do. Unfortunately for Joe, like, what's he going to do right now? He can't feud with Nakamura. He can't feud with Daniel Bryan. He can't pick up a tag team partner and feud with the Bar. Where does he go? And that's why he got eliminated first in a matter of seconds at Survivor Series tonight. So, it's kind of weird that Raw won all the matches. Like, what does that really tell you? Why did Raw win all the matches?
Because SmackDown is a better show. People enjoy the wrestling, I think, more on SmackDown. It's more entertaining. It's easier to watch than 3 hours of Raw. But they want to make sure Raw is important. I find, anyways. And by doing so, have them win all the matches.
This is kind of like making Miz the WWE champion. Like, he's a terrible wrestler, so you got to give him all the accolades so that people take him seriously and respect him. Raw is a terrible show in comparison to SmackDown. That's why Raw has to win everything so people still watch Raw, because people get fooled into thinking, oh, well, they won, so they must be the superior brand, even though, you know, Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles are on SmackDown, and Raw has Jinder Mahal.
Maybe there's some belief that this will help the ratings, that because Raw won all the matches, oh, Raw's the better show, I should watch Raw instead. Or more so than SmackDown.
Yeah, even though we can tell you for a fact that Raw is terrible every week and SmackDown is a very good wrestling show.
Though I must say, I think 2 hours of wrestling, it works a lot better weekly than 3 hours of wrestling.
Yeah, but also the rosters.
Unfortunately,
The SmackDown roster is so much better than Raw. It's just not even fair.
Well, if you take away the injuries, I think it's a lot closer than that. If Raw had Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, even Roman Reigns, it's a much more compelling show. SmackDown, you know, they just have a lot of great talent up on the main event. And because it's 2 hours, you don't really have to worry about having too many guys that have to be on the show. Like a Raw, where you have to have, sad to say, but, you know, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Not to say that Gable's bad, but the storyline sucks with him and Roode. It just goes absolutely nowhere. Weeks in and weeks out.
Yeah, well, enough with Barry and Gable as far as being a time filler. How about your boy Elias? I mean, we see him on Raw every single week wasting all of our time. And, you know, that's mostly because they have a lot of time to waste. And thankfully tonight, it's like the first pay-per-view that I can remember, maybe all year, where we don't see Elias cut a promo. Thank you, WWE. I just realized, like, Elias didn't sing a song tonight. That was nice.
That was rare, actually. I'm very surprised by that. We got the R-Truth appearances, which were funny.
They were great. R-Truth was great tonight, confused, thinking he was on Team Raw, asking Shane McMahon to join the SmackDown roster. Great stuff from Truth. Truth is hilarious.
He's like the dark horse of SmackDown. Like, he's not taken seriously, but really, he's one of the best parts of the show.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. And Enzo Amore was there too.
That's hilarious. You talked about the video.
Yeah, Enzo Amore was like in the crowd. He bought a ticket apparently and was causing a scene and was escorted out of the building. Enzo Amore crashed Survivor Series in LA.
It's hilarious. And he was like hiding at first, and then like he popped up and he started doing like his whole gimmick like in the crowd. That's hilarious.
It's crazy. I don't know what he's trying to do. I guess it's just a publicity stunt, trying to gain attention for himself. I don't think he's trying to come back to the WWE, and if he is, this is not the way to do it. It would make sense if you were trying to promote like a wrestling match or a rival wrestling promotion or something, but as far as I know, he's just being an ass.
Well, he wants to be an artist now, right? He's a rapper now, right? So he just get publicity and, maybe people look him up and look up his songs.
Or maybe not.
Or not. Yeah, sure. But you're talking about him, so it's working, right?
Bada boom, escorted out of the room.
You said that, like, he had an incident too, like on an airplane. He got escorted.
Yeah, he was escorted out of an airplane.
See, he's looking for attention. He's getting it. Negative isn't always bad.
Oh, well, I guess we're going to give it to him because Antoinette says his album is coming out tomorrow.
There you go.
So maybe that's why he did it. But yeah, I don't really miss Enzo Amore on TV. He was alright as a 205 Live champion, I guess.
I liked his stuff. I love this whole gimmick. I thought it was really working.
He was fun.
Yeah.
He was a fun gimmick. And, you know, the match tonight was better than anything Enzo could do between Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali. But, like, I didn't really care. Buddy Murphy's still the Cruiserweight champion.
I give Mustafa Ali a lot of credit. The bumps he took, man, he's just a great bumper. He loves to kill himself. Even though you're not supposed to say kill for WWE, we can say it on this show. But he killed himself. It was great. I enjoyed that.
It's just an odd statement you make when you say he loves to kill himself. It's just a weird thing that you don't hear very often coming out of a human being's mouth, you know, because it's not possible, really. But I understand what you mean.
Man, the bump he took off the second rope to the outside of the barricade, he just has no regard for his own well-being. It's fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
But painful in the end. It sucks because it seems like he'll never be the champion. He's just there to make the champion look good. But it's entertaining to watch.
I don't care who the Cruiserweight champion is.
You don't watch 205, so yeah.
Do you?
At times, here or there.
Yeah.
Mostly highlights.
But yeah, Mustafa Ali is a super talent, no doubt. Akam and Razor beat The Bar when...
Oh, this was the weirdest part of the show.
Yeah, there was like a whole distraction deal. The main part of this was when Big Show grabbed Drake Maverick, who's the little guy there with the Authors of Pain. Or are they just the AOP now? I think they're just the AOP.
They should be. It sounds better, AOP.
Yeah, but if they're just the AOP, like, it's got to stand for something.
Yeah, it's Authors of Pain, but just call them AOP.
Anyways, so the Authors of Pain... they have the little guy Drake Maverick with them. Big Show grabs this guy by the throat. Big Show's in the Bar's corner. And then, like, you see something going on in his pants. And, like, there's a hard object in his pants. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Is Drake Maverick getting turned on by Big Show choking him here? Is he getting aroused? What's happening? And then you see Drake Maverick kind of fiddling with it, like he's grabbing at his...
Squeezing.
He's grabbing at a hard object in his pants near his crotch, and you're like, whoa, 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 what are you doing here? And then there's, like, wetness that comes out, so I guess he was fiddling with some sort of gimmick that... it was like a hose or something that made
Squirt
him...
bottle,
yeah,
probably.
like a little squirt bottle or whatever... for fake urine to make it look like Drake Maverick was pissing himself. But for a while, it looked like something else was going on there.
He's playing him with himself.
It looked like he was touching himself. Like, you could see Big Show grab him by the throat, and then, like, the camera focuses on his crotch, right? Because something's going to happen to his crotch. But, like, all you see is, like, something kind of growing in his pants. And you're like, what is going on there? What are they showing us here? It was crazy. And then somehow Authors of Pain's manager pissing himself led to the Bar getting distracted and Authors of Pain winning that match. So another victory for Raw.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was a low point to the show.
That was just odd. Like, I understand what they were trying to do, add some comedy into that. It didn't quite work. Because, one, it didn't seem like there was much urine whatsoever. Usually there would be a lot, right? Like, when someone pisses themselves, like...
You would think there'd be more wetness. It was just a little trickle.
Yeah, trickle, like...
Franco said it was semen.
Well, if he was touching himself, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, it's disgusting. I don't even want to talk about this anymore. I'm sickened by the whole matter. Whoever thought this was a good idea is probably Vince McMahon.
I think it was just poorly executed. Like, I understand why they would do something like that. They're trying to put over that Big Show's a monster, and that guy, you know, he's small and...
And he's scared and he's going to pee himself? Like, really? You have to have a guy pissing himself? Come on. Like, it's so dumb.
Let's remember, Vince McMahon himself, like, did the whole pissing angle in the ring as well with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And that's why you know that Vince came up with this.
So it worked then, right?
Wally wants me to reenact Vince coming up with it. Oh, you know, pal, I think we're gonna have Big Show grab him by the throat, and then he's gonna piss himself. Yeah.
Ridiculous. And they went with it too. I'm sure they're like, oh, that's a great idea, boss.
Great idea, pal. He's gonna have something hard in his pants, but it's not gonna be his dick. It's gonna be a bottle of some sort.
Terrible.
You ever stick a bottle in your pants? Feels great, pal.
They couldn't have just done, run around the ring, catch him. There's the distraction. No, we got to make him look stupid. Yet the big guys win in the end. All right, sure.
Antoinette says Drake Maverick likes being choked. Seems like he does. Seems like he liked it a little too much, if you know what I mean. The women's 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, Mickie James, Nia Jax, Tamina, Bayley, and Sasha, Team Raw, they beat Team SmackDown as it came down to Nia Jax and Asuka. Nia Jax taking a ton of heat from the crowd, a ton of heat from the wrestling world. Everybody's mad at Nia Jax for breaking Becky's nose, as they should be. Nia Jax...
Wally hates her.
Yeah, Wally's mad. Everybody's mad at Nia Jax. Doesn't matter what her name is. Botchy Jax. Botchy ass Nia. Hurting people Nia. King Nia. Mabel Jax.
I went to 3 wrestling shows this week, and that was the big thing of like, make your shots look good, but no Nia Jaxing anyone. So now it's a term now, no Nia Jaxing anyone.
Wow, you hear that, Nia? You're famous in indie locker rooms. They're saying, hit hard, but don't Nia Jax somebody. Good job, Nia Jax. So the WWE, how do they respond to Nia Jax hurting their top star in the company, Becky Lynch? Well, they have Nia beat Asuka and win the match for Team Raw.
I think it's a great idea because it makes her more hateable now. It makes her one of the top heels in all of WWE. I think it's great. Now, Ronda needs that too because Ronda kind of almost got booed out of the building. So she needs the heel to come back from.
It's weird that Ronda took so much heat. Like Nia Jax, you get why she takes the heat. She's the one that hit Becky Lynch. People are mad at Ronda, and I'm not really sure why.
I think it's just because SmackDown, because they got beaten the whole time, so it just felt like Raw were overall all the heels.
And Ronda was obviously the favorite, and Charlotte was kind of the underdog.
Well, I don't know about that, because Charlotte's kind of always in that position herself. So
but against Ronda, you're always the underdog, no matter who you are.
But she was also representing Becky, right? And they were chanting for Becky. And that's it. I think Becky is more of a face for people than Ronda. So Ronda's the enemy by default.
Yeah, because she's feuding with Becky, we hate Ronda.
Exactly. But against Nia, Ronda's back to being the full face again.
Yeah, right, yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, it's odd.
Because tonight, Ronda and Nia were the 2 biggest heels in the women's division. Tomorrow night on Raw, Ronda's the babyface again, and Nia is still the heel in the women's division. I'm not so worried about Nia hurting Ronda, though, because if Nia does hurt Ronda in any kind of way, Ronda's going to hurt her way worse. Way worse.
Well, she could still crush her face, and, crushing your face, regardless, yeah, she's going to get her receipt, but still... You injure her, you hurt WWE more. So I just wonder, how long can they let this go with her hurting people and putting her in situations like this? A lot of this, too, is on WWE. They put Nia in these positions regardless that they know that she just isn't capable of doing it. So it's a lot of fault is more on WWE than just her.
What do you think about the WWE putting Ronda in the position to be the heel when Charlotte beats her up tonight?
Well, that's just them not knowing their audience, not understanding that.
Did they think that the crowd would boo Charlotte doing that to Ronda?
Yeah, that's a good question, yeah. I think they probably did, actually.
I don't know. It's weird. The crowd was very much behind Charlotte, saying, thank you, Charlotte. She goes out, which I called, by the way. I called the finish. Tell everybody that I called the finish.
You said go to the outside, do what your dad does, get a chair.
Yeah, I said, this is where you finish the match, Charlotte. You roll to the outside, you hit Ronda with something, you hit her with a chair. This is what Nature Boy would have done. You've thrown everything at Ronda Rousey. You can't beat her. You're frustrated. You don't know what to do. Well, screw it.
Yeah.
Just, if you can't beat her fair and square, you beat her after the match, and that's exactly what Charlotte Flair did. I loved it. It was old school Flair tactics. And I called it just before it happened, and then it went down, and I loved it. And then the post-match beatdown, I think, was awesome. And people just like that aggression. People like seeing people get beat up, and people like the way Charlotte did it. People like Charlotte. They felt bad that she was the underdog in the match, and I don't know what WWE was really thinking there. Are they trying to make Charlotte a heel on SmackDown? Because if they are, it didn't work tonight.
Well,
it's weird.
They can just kind of write this off because we're not continuing Charlotte and Ronda, at least not until if they do like a WrestleMania or Rumble, or they put them both on the same show. So you can really just take this and say, well, it doesn't really matter. Like Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar, regardless that he was the heel, he was still kind of cheered Daniel Bryan. So you can just take this as it was kind of in its own little universe. And now we just go back to Raw and SmackDown feuds, and that's it.
That's it. Whatever happened tonight was kind of a standalone, and it doesn't really impact the rest of the...
They'll bring it up if they need to use it again. But
yeah, but they'll ignore it if they can.
That's it.
Yeah. Paul M. making a solid point about that match, too, says the finish for Flair Rousey protected them both. Neither were pinned or submitted, and it does set up the rematch as well, right?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, again, can Becky come back? Who knows? So maybe you still do Charlotte versus Ronda at WrestleMania. If now more, I think I want to see that at WrestleMania. But, of course, Becky comes back. That could change things.
Yeah, Becky's still going to be the top performer in the WWE no matter what.
Well, I mean, you can still do a three-way, right? We haven't seen Ronda in these kind of matches before. I mean, she's done tag and singles. That's it. Seeing her triple threat, I think that would be amazing.
I still want to see Becky Ronda one-on-one, though. We haven't seen that. I need to see that.
Well, there's future pay-per-views. It's not like they're going anywhere.
I think that's WrestleMania. I still think that's the WrestleMania main event. Becky Ronda one-on-one.
Well, right now the focus is on Charlotte, right? And they're going to go forward with that, and they're going to see what happens with Becky. Can Becky come back? Will she have to forfeit the title? There's still a lot of questions with that. But they have Charlotte. They can use her, and they're going to run with that.
And it all depends on what happens with Becky now, like when she comes back, and that'll dictate what they do with the title. If she can be back in 3-4 weeks, they'll keep the title on her. If it'll be longer, I think they'll take it off, right?
I definitely think just have her forfeit the title, regardless if she can come back. But her comeback, she never lost the title, but then she comes back, wins the Rumble. You think she'll go back for her title, but no, she goes after Ronda instead. I think that's a good story. However, Charlotte's created her own little story, so it could go many different ways, which is fun. And either way is good, right?
I suppose.
Well, which would you rather, the Charlotte-Ronda rematch or Becky-Ronda?
Becky Ronda.
Yeah? I don't know, after tonight, I'm kind of sold on seeing Charlotte and Ronda again.
I mean, I'm not mad at that, but I want to see the Becky Ronda match more. Because I want to see it. We haven't seen it yet. I was happy with both matches. I think they were great. And we're going to wrap up. Any final questions, final thoughts here? I'm seeing people say goodnight to each other. What's going on? These people are ending the show before we are. What's going on? Some of the YouTube Antoinette's like saying goodnight. Rob Cluse is saying goodnight. It's not goodnight until Johnny North said goodnight.
Yeah, I haven't said it yet, but I guess people just doze off, I guess.
Wally's like, no, we're not saying goodnight. Wally's sticking around, even though it's like what, 5 a.m. or something over there in Ireland?
Close to 6 or something, yeah.
There you go. But yeah, we have been going on for a while. Rob Clue says TakeOver was much better than Survivor Series. Hard to argue that, but TakeOver was like, what, 2 hours long? It's pretty short. This is a way longer show. Different matches. I thought TakeOver was very good. I liked every match. I thought Velveteen Dream and Tommaso Ciampa was great. Kind of wanted to see Velveteen win. I want to see Velveteen become NXT champion, but hey, maybe not. Maybe you just move him up to the main roster now. The guy is terrific.
I don't want to give names away, but someone told me, thinking of NXT and the main show, it's totally different because you don't have the Hollywood writers writing for the superstars. It's pretty much the wrestling minds that are writing for the wrestlers. The wrestlers tell the story with their wrestling in NXT, And Raw, well, it's Hollywood pretty much. So that's why, like, the TV show, not so good. NXT, it feels like it's a wrestling show.
Not to mention, like, the matches that they have. You can't forget the schedule is very different on the main roster. You're wrestling way more often. You're traveling way more than you do in NXT, right? It's a rougher schedule on the main roster, and it's harder on your body to wrestle those high-intensity matches that they're able to do in NXT because they have time to rest, and they're not on the road nearly as much. Nowhere close.
Well, I think Triple H just realized, like, Ring of Honor, it works. Just put it on our TV. Put our guys that have wrestling minds and have those great talents, have them display themselves. It'll be great. When they come in Raw and SmackDown, things are going to change because it's mainly just storylines and us just selling the next shows. NXT, they're selling the wrestling matches, which is more of a throwback, unfortunately, now.
Yeah, well, it's a wrestling-based product, right?
Well, that's why people, I think, like it. Wrestling fans like NXT more.
Yeah.
Because it is mainly about the wrestling.
Kind of like New Japan, you rarely see promos there. It's mostly a wrestling-based show. Johnny North, we have one final question for you before we wrap up. It's from our boy Wally. He wants to know who was AJ with at your show.
She had black hair. That's all I could tell because I saw him from up top. I just saw he had his arm around her, and that's about it. She had black hair.
So AJ from Ringside Report Radio had his arm around a mysterious black-haired lady at your wrestling show. We tried to get the info out of him on Ringside Report Radio, went nowhere. But this is part 2 of that saga where Johnny North tells his side of the story because it was your text message that prompted my line of questioning on the last episode of Ringside Report Radio, which you can check out right now on our YouTube channel or over at ringsidereport.net.
We didn't do an AJ After Dark because he said that he was with his mom, so...
Which you didn't quite believe. You think his mom is code for a girl that he doesn't want to talk about, or a lady.
Well, mom could be baby mama. I mean...
I don't think he has children.
Well, baby mama could be a different kind of way you take it. Some people take it differently.
What?
Yeah.
No, baby mama is your child's mother.
No,
that's the only way to take it.
No, some people take it differently.
Well, they're taking it incorrectly then.
Right, but still, they take it differently. I know people that they take it a different way.
You know people who've misunderstood the term baby mama?
Yeah.
What are they, idiots?
They just have a different way of looking at it, that's all.
No, it's not a different way. It's an incorrect way.
Is it incorrect?
There's the right way and there's the wrong way of interpreting something, and they're confused. Your friends are confused. I'm not surprised that your friends are confused, though, John. I'm not surprised.
Wrestling is a crazy life, without question.
Yeah, it is.
It was definitely a fun weekend. We'll talk all about it on Dave and Johnny Live this week.
Dave and Johnny Live, Friday at noon. We'll be back, or noon-ish, right? We'll be back here Friday to talk to all of you. I want to thank everybody for checking in. Wally, Franco, JJ, Antoinette, JC, Captain Baba. So many people checking in tonight. Rob Cluse, my man. Paul M, my man. Bob Cote. I mean, we're seeing so many people here tonight. And
people like Survivor Series, I guess.
Yeah, people are hyped about Survivor Series. It was a big night, big event, and we'll recap everything that happens on Raw and SmackDown tomorrow and Tuesday on the next episode of Wrestling Uncensored. And Dave and Johnny Live will be back on Friday afternoon to recap, maybe 90 Day Fiancé or whatever.
Who knows what else is going to happen this week? I mean, last week was insane, right, in wrestling. Who knows what's going to happen Raw and SmackDown? I mean, they kind of have to completely change the storylines because they had a totally different approach going into Survivor Series. You can only imagine going forward how things have changed. We got a glimpse of it tonight, but I think more is to come.
WWE is definitely in a shift with Roman Reigns no longer in the picture. They got to find their footing, and that's what they're doing right now.
So I actually watched Raw and SmackDown because when I told people, oh yeah, Daniel Bryan's champion, a lot of people had no idea this match was happening tonight.
Yeah. Or just listen to Wrestling Uncensored, and that's all you need to know.
You should do that every week.
Don't watch Raw and SmackDown. Just listen to Wrestling Uncensored. I mean, watch Raw and SmackDown if you want to, but It's not necessary because we got your recap. We'll fill you in.
It should be an automatic. It should just be already set that you get the new episode all the time off iTunes.
All right. And Antoinette says Roman Reigns will be back. She won't give up hope. Don't give up hope, Antoinette. Don't give up hope, Roman Reigns. We're thinking of you, and we do hope that you do come back.
Yeah, Roman's a good draw.
Yeah.
And it's going to be different when he comes back. But he is a superstar, without question. And he takes a good beating. I enjoy seeing Roman Reigns get his butt kicked.
If Roman were on the show tonight, who would he have wrestled as Universal Champion? AJ Styles or Daniel Bryan?
Well, we've seen both matches, right?
Yeah.
He wrestled both guys.
I could see them doing Bryan and Roman tonight had Roman been there.
I don't think it would have been this kind of setup. I think they would have changed it. I don't think we would have had it this kind of way. I think the Shield would have been in like a Survivor Series type match. I don't think we would have had champion kind of stuff like this.
You might be right. Seth and Dean probably wouldn't have turned on each other.
I could see maybe the Shield...
Right? Like if Roman hadn't...
Right.
Seth and Dean would probably still be on the same side.
I think the turn would have happened tonight instead.
Maybe. Well, whatever. It's all hypothetical now because we're living in this world. We're living in this universe, the Wrestling Uncensored universe. So thanks everybody for checking in. We appreciate you all, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks for watching.
Good night.
Good night. Survivor Series.